Yo, got a video for you, man. I think this one's very important as well. It's about parasocial activity. Yeah, it's a real thing. You guys should know about this by now. And honestly, it's a thing where people automatically go to the fans of the certain creator and blame them, but also people need to look at it as what is the creator, right, doing to make these fans act like this. No, of course, the fans have a mind of their own. They're gonna do whatever, but some creators lean onto that parasocial, uh, 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 that parasocial activity, and try to make it seem like, oh yeah, like my fans really know me, or we're more like a family and stuff like that. And most of these fans who are parasocial like that will take that to heart. They'll really act like they know you. When they see you in real life, they'll act like your boys, even though you've never seen them in their life. And that's the thing. But obviously, when there's so much money in parasocial activity, people just get into it regardless. But obviously, it does affect their real life. I got a great video for you, man, to watch though. Yeah, shout out to Omeezy. I'm gonna get straight into it, man.
She said, I heard you got a girl. I'm trying to be respectful.
Me? Oh, me?
Yeah, she said she heard you got a girl, so she's trying to be respectful.
What?
Yeah.
Where you hear that at? Coming up to me saying congratulations for your relationship.
People come up to you and say that?
Yes, I'm like, bro, what clips y'all watching? Like, everybody parasocial, even in real life.
Congratulating somebody for having a girlfriend at 30 years old is literally insane. Now, I know, y'all are probably sick of me beating this dead horse, but I think as the days go on, it gets even crazier. People are getting much more parasocial than they used to be. And I don't know if it's because of the amount of content creators out there or the amount of content to be consumed, but at some point, people have to draw lines in the sand and say that, hey, this isn't real. I need my own life. I gotta stop doom scrolling, and I have to not get connected to these content creators who are, putting their lives on for display. I think part of the rise and the uptick of parasocial conversations when it comes to content creators has been aided by people learning that streaming is a method, is a way to go about making money in content. We're at the point where now people are seeing what is clear as day, to me at least, an on-camera relationship for content be perceived as a real relationship. I feel like we're living at the same time.
I wanted to stop it there real quick. He's made some really good points already off the bat. We're only 1 minute into the video, but parasocial activity is a thing where, realistically speaking, you don't even have to be a guy that has no friends and stuff like that. As a person who is also chronically online, I know better to not act like I know people online when I really don't. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I've already, like, those are the standards that were taught to me as a child. Those are the standards that, you know, me myself, I taught myself, I grew up with, and I stick to those values. Hey, I love the internet. I love the internet. I'm on it every day. But I know better to 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 say that to say that I know the people that I watch. I may know them by name. I don't know their real character. I don't know their real life story. I don't know what they really do behind the cameras. That's their personal life. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, with most of the creators now, they are putting their real life stuff online. Um, so you can't really be surprised when someone tells you something about you, and you're like, where'd you get that from? Whole time you put that on the internet, and that's why they know. In terms of the relationship dynamic that DDG and what's her name, India Love have, DDG has already stated previously in previous stream vods that we're really just there. That he's just doing it for the content. He's doing it to entertain, his fans. He knows what comes with this because he's also participating in it. Obviously, on the little short clip that Omizi put on, he was acting like, "Oh, where the heck do they get this? Where the heck do they get this?" Come on, man. Obviously, some people know it's for content, but other people will look at it and be like, "Come on, man. You two are clearly together because of the way you act towards each other on camera." But you know what I'm saying. But obviously, for the people who know how to distinguish certain things. They'll be able to tell, yeah, they're just doing this for content and stuff like that. But some other people just can't.
Timeline is that one Drewski skit.
This is Herbo's son. He don't see that. He got $1 million put up. He got $1 million put up. Herbo said it in the song. Herbo said it in the song. He said it in the song. Christian is pregnant. That's what I'm saying. I get that. But in what world would Blueface really be putting his hands on the bitch, man? Trust me. Trust me. In what world? In what world? Oh, shit, babe, you posted.
For real?
What should I say? So proud of you. That's why they call you the hero.
Putting images of his dead ops as the cover, like a Mount Rushmore of fallen rivals. Jacksonville police, or JSO, are notorious for not cracking cases.
I swear that last clip is how some people be watching these streamers make content. Celebrity obsession isn't anything new. We've seen videos, footages, all this stuff of the Beatles, of Elvis Presley, of Michael Jackson. Like, I remember one time seeing a video as a kid of a woman passing out when Michael Jackson came and touched her in a crowd or something like that. And hey,
No, the difference between fanboying essentially and fangirling back in the day was that you really didn't know these guys at all personally. You were a fan of them for how they carried themselves, how mysterious they were. In case of, let's use Michael Jackson, I mean, one of the greatest musicians of all time. Genuinely, generational talent, beyond generational at this point. The guy was fantastic. Do you know what I'm saying? Now it's almost like your fans, instead of putting people on a pedestal, they still kind of put them on a pedestal, but it's almost like before it was you put this person on a pedestal because of how great they were, and you think to yourself, there's no one like them. Now it's kind of like you put them on a pedestal, but it's like, bro, you really think you know them? Like, you really think you and that same person are boys? Like, you mean are friends? Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not like that. That's not the dynamic. You think that's the dynamic. Whole time the guy that you think you're friends with doesn't. He doesn't know you, but you know them. And I feel like the people who are involved in parasocial activity, they don't realize that as much as you know them, they don't even know you exist. That's the crazy thing.
that's the king of pop. I don't necessarily blame her. But I think in the past, there were natural barriers that had people at least an arm's length away or a few arms length away from their favorite content creators, from their favorite actors, actresses, or whatever the case may be. A magazine came out once a week and featured them maybe once or twice a year. Radio probably played their songs, but that was only when you were in the radio. They did interviews every once in a while. It just wasn't the constant cycle that streaming and social media has with these people today.
Exactly what I said. These guys weren't active like that. You used to see them once or twice. After that, they would ghost. You used to hear them on the radio. You wouldn't really see these guys all that much. Streamers, you see them every day. With some of them, every day. Every day they're streaming for 8 hours a day. They're showing what they're doing. And if they're not showing what they're doing, they're actively doing what they're doing on stream, and communicating with their followers, and that's where you can actually see the whole thing with parasocial activity. These guys are actively talking to their chat. In the chat, obviously, some of them think, oh, this guy is talking directly to me. Obviously, that's not the case, but you can kind of see where they get the whole thing from.
Some of the more traditional celebrities grew up with that mentality, and they've even started to pass that word down to some of the younger celebrities. Denzel Washington told Michael B. Jordan to limit his exposure and presence because people won't go and see him on the big screen later on.
But I do disagree with what he's saying. And my disagreement is for today's market, for the culture of media today. You see, because movies are still big and they're still fun, and TV is somewhat big and still fun, but social media is king. There is no such thing as overexposure, but the notion of overexposure is just wrong for today. People are consuming so much, you will not be overexposed.
Why pay you on the weekend if they could see you all week for free? Sounds like a money issue to me. And I know if I have money issues, I know exactly what I'm doing. Mar was talking about. While I do agree with the notion that these people
If you're wondering what that was, I had to skip a whole advert. So yeah, man, get your money though, bro.
will pay for whatever from their favorite creators. What I don't agree with is the concept there is no such thing as overexposure. That's how a lot of these current day content creators end up on the internet crying and screaming because the pressure is just too much for them. This whole Samaya community ball situation is totally out of hand in my opinion.
I just don't do shit like this. It's so weird. I done had talks with these people off camera and told them like, I don't appreciate the narrative going around. Man, I don't give a fuck. I only give a fuck because it's like when somebody says that they fuck with you, you know, that's weird. I don't do that to them. And I'm only addressing it online. I let everything else slide. Like I do. But if you come to something on the internet, I'm gonna address it on the internet. Period, point blank. It wasn't a problem when niggas was laughing on camera. Now it's a problem when I made somebody feel bad and they wanna address the narrative. No.
What that was content creator and streamer Samaya, however we're saying her name, crying about social media rumors between her and probably like 6 to 7 to 9 to 10 content creators that are male on the platform. Rumors and allegations that she's been passed around. She has been titled as the community ball several different times on the platform, and it is actually pretty harmful and detrimental to her psyche. I made a video about Cooking with Kaya going through some of the same situations where she was getting labeled as X, Y, and Z on the internet. And what I wanted to portray in that video was that I don't think that it's Cooking with Kaya's fault. It's a function of the parasocial community that has been built by content creators well before them. And now we're getting to a point where people are putting rumors and different things and names on your jacket, and ultimately, because it's all content and it's all funny, etc., other content creators who you believe you're close to are playing into it. Now, do you help it by being close to these super freaked out gooner level streamers? Absolutely not. But with that being said, there should be a little bit of self-awareness of the content creator to know that, hey, I am in this parasocial ass community and they are going to do me wrong. Specifically, if I am a woman streamer, it doesn't matter how many times you have people come to bat for you or apologize for you. It really isn't going to do anything.
Just because Samaya might date or link with a nigga or whatever the fuck, it don't make it no difference from any other girl or any dude. You know what I mean?
And obviously, that is very true. And like I said again, I feel like I'm pretty much repeating myself here. It does not matter what you do. If the community sees you one way, it's gonna be pretty hard to shake that off, especially when you like they see your reaction to it. You know what I'm saying? I seen a video recently about how people like Mr. Beast or whoever else, you know, managed to get away from such aggravating situations and come out on top, come out even better. You guys already know about that whole situation that Mr. Beast had with Ava Chris Tyson. I'm not gonna go too much in detail, but bro, that guy just kept quiet, kept working. Eventually, all of that fell behind. That happens to so many. It happens to Kai Cenat. It happened to Speed. It happened to whoever else. Obviously, like someone like Corey Kenshin, but in a way lesser scale. It definitely wasn't as bad. You know what I'm saying? But like these streamers, when something happens to them, some of them ignore it and just keep working, and eventually it just people forget about it. It's similar to the situation with DDG when that one fan called him Doodoo Garbage. What happened? He acted, retaliated. His brother went on to try jump the guy who called him Doodoo Garbage, and instead of just allowing it and just ignoring it, he gave it attention, and now people now know, okay, Doodoo Garbage gets a reaction off of this guy, and they'll keep doing it. They'll keep doing it, especially when the flipping retaliation to someone calling them Doodoo Garbage wasn't even that all that, man. But the other guy got jumped, got choked. Yeah, cool, man. You know what I'm saying? The retaliation wasn't that bad. Now people know if you call him Doodoo Garbage, it still affects him. Instead of just ignoring him, it just made it worse.
I mean, I think it's just dramatized because it's in this stream world. But it's like, I think I don't know. I'm just being 100. I'm not even being biased. whatsoever. But I don't like how niggas be doing that. That shit don't be cool.
Now, DDG is 100% right in this situation because fans are way too invested into the relationship content these days, or I would say not even necessarily relationship content, but anytime a woman is next to any sort of male streamer. I think playing into these interactions leads people to believe that there is something more going on, and because you are on stream or giving them some sort of content 24/7, 365, people feel as if they have a right to your business. Now, I'm not saying that that's right. I do feel like people should, you know, develop some sort of life or realize that this is all reality television. Like, none of this is real. And it's kind of hard because it's always in their face, but none of it is truly real. But content creators and streamers or whoever.
I'll put that back so then he continues with his point, but again, I've mentioned that as well. Very important to decipher what is fake and what is real. Even if, okay, you think what I'm watching here is real, is happening in real time, which most of the time it isn't real, you need to be able to decipher that from what's happening on the internet and what's happening in your life. People, I'm telling you, it gets to certain points with certain people that are dealing with parasocial activity. They really think that their lives are being affected by guys on the internet that don't know them, don't know the story, don't know the existence, don't know nothing. That's a problem. That's a really big problem. You have your own issues to deal with, and you think that your issues are with this guy who doesn't even know you. That's the problem. You see, this as a person who is also online a lot, I know to decipher the real from fake. I know to decipher what really affects my life and what is just entertainment. What guys that are watching this, you that are watching me right now, this is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Is there lessons that you can learn from it? Is there certain things that you can learn from it? Most definitely. Don't get it twisted. But just know that you watching this right now, you don't know me, I don't know you. You may enjoy my content, you may not, but as long as you understand, you don't know me, so I can't possibly affect your life in any way, shape, or form unless you want me to. Then you understand, okay, cool. There's no problem there. But some people don't understand, some people don't want to understand. That's a problem.
Don't do anybody any justice when they lean into the content. So all of these smaller interactions between, I don't know, Jason and Sakura lead into people asking Jason when they're going to get married and have kids. All of the interactions with Agent and Emily lead to people believing that they are in some sort of relationship.
And when it comes to Agent, this has happened to him even before Emily. I've been watching Agent for a while. I don't keep up with him as much now, but when I was a little bit younger, I used to watch him quite a lot, and he used to bring in girls all the time. I can off the top of my head, I can remember like 2 girls with people for all these men are in a relationship. In all truthfulness, they made like they only did like 1 stream together. Obviously, the most prominent one would be Senna, right? People, you got to a point where people really thought they were in a relationship. There was something there. It's just content. It's just content. These guys are just trying to entertain you, and you know, some people are just taking it to the next level for no reason. Maybe because out of boredom, maybe because they don't have there's something better going on in their own lives, or just something at all. But yeah, man, that's what happens when people are bored and they go online, and their whole life is just online. You know what I'm saying? Just go on, make certain scenarios and try to hope that it's the truth, but it really isn't, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's a little dry.
I gotta try with the sauce there.
It's like it's just pork. Like it's nothing crazy.
Oh nah.
Fine.
Emily, be honest.
It's nothing crazy. The lamb chops are better.
Dan, you want this last one? Take it. I had
full.
You're not full. You just got your meal.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I mean, if you insist.
I'm starting to feel like the equivalent of the dress in Hollywood for these women streamers is the relationship. Because ultimately what happens after all of this, and we've seen it with the Sinners of the world, we've seen it with Sumya now, we've seen it with Cooking with Kaya, is that they're going to be labeled as some sort of pass around 304 X, Y, and Z community ball because these people have developed parasocial relationships with these content creators from small snippets of them and make people take things way too far and they get sexist, misogynist, or whatever the case may be. The nature of this type of entertainment is that it's more personal than acting. So we can see actors on screen kiss and have a relationship or whatever the case may be, but it is still a separation. Now, there are some sickos that ship these types of people. I've even seen like shipping conversations in the WNBA where people are shipping people with teammates. There's always going to be those sickos. But for the
Very true. Now, for me, I think hopefully it should get to the point when people can, the same way people know that actors, you know, guys don't really know like the lives of actors or musicians, but the same people, the same way people, look at actors and think, okay, this is they're acting. It's a movie, it's acting. They're kissing, but that doesn't mean that they're together. That doesn't mean that you know something that other people don't. I think eventually it's gonna get to that point with streaming. Streaming. If you look at it, streaming is still a relatively new thing. When did streaming really start getting popular? 2015, 16. Yeah, man. The streaming still got time to for people to eventually learn. Okay, this isn't real. Obviously, it may take too long. Some people might never get out of that mindset, which at that point they're lost. But yeah, no, streaming's still relatively new. Give it some time.
general people out there is a hard line drawn between movie relationships that are seen on screen and real life. But when it comes to this content creation, because the whole allure is supposed to be hella relatable people doing hella relatable things, playing video games, reacting to the same YouTube videos that you watch to, people get so caught up and lost in the sauce of what's actually going on to not realize that this stuff is fake, like DDG was saying. And I know that he recognizes this a lot with his own content because the stuff that I'm seeing between him and India Love, and I'm talking about the perception, just lets me know that people are going way too far. And at the time that it's happening, I feel like it's very, very interesting that people are making these posts about DDG being in love with India Love. Does he play into it? Absolutely, 100%. Don't get me wrong. DDG is a part of the problem. But does that mean that people should have to deal with the backlashes and side effects of what's going on in his actual real life? His custody battle that's very public with his baby mother, Hallie? No, I think that some of the conversations are weird and stem from the way that he has created a parasocial relationship with his audience online, and they can't separate the difference. I've seen people go to war and be super obtuse standing on either side of them because they feel like they know them for some reason, but ultimately that's definitely not the case, and you look like a weirdo when you do this. Oftentimes when this conversation is had between commentary channels or streamers themselves, they keep it very lighthearted and talk about at most the name calling that women do get online, which isn't anything to take light at all. But there's also another level to this, and that's when the parasocial conversations get honestly life-threatening. I don't know if you guys remember that situation from Streamer Prom where Jason got left at prom by his date and the cameraman.
Sakura, things were going good, and then all of a sudden we got matching nails, right? Initials. And then out of nowhere, I went to the restroom and she was like, the J is for John, who is my cameraman. And then, at first it was like, oh, she's joking. But yeah, she said the J was for John. And then I was like, yeah. Say you're just kidding. And then she just kept digging a bigger grave, you know what I mean?
Now, there's no way to express how truly...
Again, this situation with Jason and whoever the other girl was, I forgot her name already, but you see the way he seemed so melancholy and stuff like that. He's acting. This isn't real. Do you know what I'm saying? But people take it to such a level to where I've even heard the girl who apparently played Jason was getting death threats, bro. How are you, man, sending death threats to someone you don't know because of someone you don't know? People have been put in mental asylums for less. Do you know what I mean? Death threats. And this is another problem as well. People are sending death threats online because obviously online they think they're invincible. You think in reality they're gonna be, threatening to kill someone like that without no retaliation, no nothing. Come on, man. It's because they're online as well that they're acting like this.
Fake that clip was. Like, there's nothing else to say besides that clip was fake. But because this is the internet, people took that situation to heart and really ran with it.
I kid you not, a 10-year-old Asian kid walk up to me at the airport and ask if Jason was okay after streamer prom. He came up to me and said, "Is Jason okay after streamer prom?" This kid was literally 10 years old.
And see, that would be
Again, the kid's 10. Kid's 10, he don't know better. He's asking if he's okay. That's regular. That's normal. You know what I'm saying? That's actually pretty nice of the kid. But you know me, I'm talking about the extreme cases. Those ones that go far. But this one, that's regular, man. That's normal. A 10-year-old asking someone if they're okay, they don't know no better.
fine if we just left it there, but it got to a level where she was receiving threats on her life about the whole situation.
And there you go. And he's going to elaborate more. But I already heard about this.
To the point where Jason the Ween had to come out and say, Sakura and I are fine. Please stop sending end-of-life threats and harassment, especially towards her. Our streams are for entertainment, but things can be misinterpreted. Today didn't go as expected, but we're grateful for the support. Please be kind. We're all human. Thank you. I can only imagine if every time I went to the movies, I got so invested that I believe that the characters in real life were actually going through these things, or the people in the music were going through these things, or the people on television were going through these things. And then that made me feel some sort of real human emotions to the point where I wanted to take some sort of action on the people that, caused them harm or violence. I think that that's a very weird concept. Everybody would be mad at all of the men in the Tyler Perry movie at that point. Parasocial relationships can hurt. Like, they just physically can. They can hurt emotionally as well. They can hurt you, the viewer, who gets into that parasocial relationship. I understand that there is fandom. Like, you can find X, Y, and Z entertaining, funny, insightful, whatever the case may be. But there's a point in which you as a fan can overstep boundaries. And I'm saying you because everybody's a fan of somebody. But there is a point where you can overstep boundaries, and that's where the parasocial lines should be drawn. Otherwise, we're going to get to a point where the profitability does not matter, because parasocial is profitable. But people will decide to remove themselves from the internet for the sake of their own health, safety, and well-being, because people just go way too far.
I don't really have much to add, but bro, at the end of the day, it's gone too far, man. And it's not just fans being invested in relationships that don't exist. It's fans being invested in people that they don't know. And again, I'm not gonna repeat myself again because I think I've already got my point across. Just, brother, turn off the Wi-Fi. Look around you. That's your situation. That's your real life. Go take care of that. These people that you don't know, bro, they won't be able to do nothing for you, bro, because they don't know you. Okay? That's all I have to say, man.